Guyana. This week, West Side Story begins its journey right here on the west coast of Demerara. Of course, and where I am is at the Rumzek rice field, and we'll be taking you through a journey. What we're trying to do is beginning this week, every now and again, to feature what's happening in the rice industry, because as you know, rice is a very big part of what happens on the west side, a very big part of what happens in Region 3. So of course, stay tuned. We'll talk more about rice. We have one of the rice experts in our country, Mr. General Hammond, who's going to be talking with me a little later on this week's episode, this week's edition of West Side Story. I'm Malika Ramsey, of course. Thanks for joining us, and do stay tuned. Thanks for staying with West Side Story. Earlier I forgot to tell you, but of course you could see that I'm holding a very huge umbrella. In Guyana, in our communities, we call it a house, and that's because it's a very rainy Saturday morning here on the west side. But of course we will never let that stop us from doing what we're doing, and later on you'll probably hear from Gina that the rain is really important for rice. And of course, as I did say, we're beginning today's edition by focusing somewhat on rice. Gina, welcome to West Side Story. Thanks for being with us this morning. General Hammond is the co-chair of the rice. Go ahead, Jenna.
Rice Producers Association Action Committee. Dr. Torian Durga is the other co-chair. I represent the rice farmer sector, and he represents the Millers Association sector, people who manufacture the rice.
Okay.
So this voice of the rice industry actually brings all the players in the industry, rather than in the past where one section was set against the other.
Okay.
So what our approach is to build unity among all the players, the rice farmers, the rice millers, and those who are engaged in the rice industry.
This is being done through the association. Of course, viewers, as you know, rice has always been very, very important to Guyana, because apart from the fact that it feeds us, it makes money for us when it comes to exports and so on. Jenna, let's talk about the situation with rice right here in Region 3. What's happening? Is it negative? Is it a positive one? Can we expect to see changes, benefits? Let's talk.
But look, as you can see here, we are going to have a bumper crop.
For us, rice, what does that mean? For us who are not...
For us, it shows that our farmers are listening to what we are seeing in relation to the increase in production and productivity.
Okay.
And we are going to have a bumper crop. Our difficulty is that we have not put in place yet the structure, a marketing structure to market the rice farmers' produce.
For the benefit of our viewers, sorry to cut in on you, what is a bumper crop?
A bumper crop means that you will have sort of a excessive, not excessive, but very good yield.
Okay, then you would normally have...
We normally produce here, over the last period, nearly 1 million tons of rice in the whole year. And I think that we will repeat this year, because remember the last crop, and I want to talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Last crop, you will recall, most people will recall that we had a drought.
Yes.
When this new government came into being, we had new people who were responsible for the region. For the first time in the history of the rice industry, the farmers were able to have an REO in the name of Dennis Dikaran, who went completely out of his way. In fact, I went with him on many of the areas to actually ensure that the farmers who were not getting water into their lands, that everything was, all the stops were pulled out. And he was there himself Saturdays and Sundays. Anytime during the day he was there, day and night, to ensure that the water came into the farmer. So we were able to save at least 95% or more of the crops on the west coast of Demerara. The other areas didn't, as you know, Essequibo would suffer badly.
Yes.
But here we are pleased to say that we are building up a level of competence through the REO. So we work very closely with him. At the tip of a finger, we could get him to do things. There
seems somewhat now to be a bit of an extension of the May-June rainy season, because, and of course viewers, we're not sure when this broadcast is reaching you, but as Jen and I are talking, this is almost at the end of July. So we were seeing what seems to be an extension of the May-June rainy season. How is this affecting? Is it a benefit? Is it a plus for the industry?
What we need to do, and you know, the president talked a lot about the green economy. We need to be able to get our farmers to understand what is really taking place. There is a major global change in terms of weather pattern, and there's very little that any one of us can do. It's very difficult to predict exactly when the rain is going to come and when the sun is going to come on. Yeah. So what we have to do, and I think that's something that we need to discuss much more with our officials of government, to have a much more scientific approach towards the weather conditions and what do we do to put the infrastructure in place. I have to say that the last government have completely neglected the drains and irrigation system.
And you've seen improvement. I mean, it's only been 1 year.
There is vast improvement. If you look across there, that structure that is being built there, that is going to be a new rice mill. So that tells you that the rice industry is here to stay. Across there are two other rice mills. If the camera can go there, you'll see two other rice mills. The rice that, as you quite rightly said, is our staple diet. Everybody eats rice, regardless of what, whoever you are, old, young, whatever race, religion, and so on. Nobody will dispute that, and therefore rice has a future.
We continue this week right here on West Side Story. Now we're on the West Bank of Demerara in Sisters Village, of course, Sisters Wales Village. If I've gotten that wrong, we have the perfect person to correct me. He is one of the counselors, the APNU AFC counselor for this area. In our earlier edition, our first edition of West Side Story back in 2015, you met Councillor Leroy Levens. He's back with us today, and he's telling us about some work that was recently done not too far away from here that has served great purpose for the residents of this community. But I'll let you hear all about that from Leroy Levens. Leroy, welcome again. Welcome back. It's good to have you back. Welcome back to West Side Story.
Thank you, Malaika.
All right, great. Let's talk about what's happening in this community in general. And I know that the idea today is for you to focus specifically on some, is it revetment works?
Revetment, yes.
Okay, let's talk.
Work. Yes, this area had a serious erosion been taking place to the roadside. And even it is threatening that they feel that the old road might have been moved right into the trench.
Oh, okay.
And so the region, along with the government, we decided that it's important that we do this revetment. The revetment was done by a contractor by the name of Mr. Ivor Allen.
Okay.
And the revetment started in the month of April. And so we satisfied that it's been completed on time.
Okay.
At a cost of about $13 million.
Okay. All right. $13 million for the entire thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I figured it would be Guyana dollars
Well,
then.
yeah.
Again, because I like to deal with specifics. How long it was in this in a bad shape?
Well, it was in a bad state for the last 5-6 years.
Okay. All right.
And nothing was really done.
Okay, what about the residents? Have you gotten some word or some support from the residents so far? Have they expressed, the fact that they're probably happy about this?
Yes, the residents, they are very pleased that this was done. Even the teachers at the school said, it was something that they felt that would have threatened the lives of the foundation of the school.
Okay, and which school is that?
This is Wales.
Okay.
Wales Primary School. And so the residents welcome this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Any other projects lined up for this community soon?
Well, we're looking at later to that way we can enhance the road.
Okay, all right.
The road project. Because if you have erosion taking place, it will be difficult for you to look at the road. So we start looking at the road first, the revetment, and then we looked at the road.
Okay, I know, and viewers, I must remind you, every week that we do West Side Story, I remind you that it's all part and parcel of government's continued effort to better the lives of the citizens here on the West Side in Region 3. Is there anything at this point that you would probably want to call on the government for in terms of more assistance?
No, well, if I may say that the government has been giving assistance, but we asking residents, the community, to make certain that they take care of the work, the money that's being spent, the work that's being done, that they keep eye on it, make certain that nothing is being done, it's being done properly, and so forth. And so far, we are pleased how this has been. The project has went ahead. It's done way ahead of the schedule.
Time. Okay, great.
The quality of work you receive, we satisfied with the quality of work.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Councillor Levens. All right, we'll be back in a bit with more from Councillor Levens as we move from this community to another community. Stay with West Side Story. West Side Story continues this week, and of course we're in another really great community, that's Potentia. We're actually right opposite the Potentia Secondary School right here on the West Bank of Demerara. And now Councillor Levens is going to tell you about a bridge that was recently rehabilitated. He'll talk about the cost and so on, and how convenient this is also for residents of this community. So of course, stay with West Side Story. We're here in Potentia. Thank you very much for staying with West Side Story. Of course, Councillor Levens here is going to tell you about this bridge. It looks really, really strong. I mean, I am not a contractor, so that's the most I can say to describe it. But Councillor Levens here is the expert right now. So tell us about the bridge and the costs and so on.
This bridge was a wooden structure that was done for the last 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
No vehicles, a vehicle was traveling over and the bridge broke in half. And nothing was done to repair it. But this government believes that we must do things that will last for generations.
Okay, makes sense.
And so we decided not to build a wooden structure again, but to do a concrete structure. The cost of this bridge is about $8.2 million.
Okay, that's a lot. So I'm assuming it's a really good one, a sturdy bridge.
Yes, $8.2 million.
And just before Councillor Levens continue, viewers, as we speak, I know you're hearing the background noises, the horns in the vehicles and so on. This is to tell you how busy this community really is and how handy the bridge indeed will come in.
Yes, so this bridge is a made bridge for this community. Because all the other bridges are small bridge and wooden structures.
Okay.
And so we recognize the inconvenience it was posing to the residents in Potentia.
Okay.
And so the region advertised this project, and D&N Civil Engineering won the contract.
Okay.
And so this bridge has been completed before the scheduled period also.
Okay, wonderful. Well, that means our people are efficient and they understand the need to continue to help government. Because viewers, I always remind you that government can't do it alone. Government needs to be criticized, but of course it depends on how you do that, and government needs to be supported. So once it is that you're saying that the works were completed before it was really originally scheduled to be complete, it tells me that Guyanese are on board and they understand the importance of working, you know, as a team and getting stuff done quickly.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And so we indeed happy that this has been completed. And even the residents welcome what this structure, and they know it's going to enhance development within the community.
Okay, viewers, I can tell you it's been a really rainy Saturday and it's difficult to get the residents to come out to talk to you today. But of course, West Side Story will keep track of everything that's happening, and we'll keep coming back in these communities to tell you what is happening in terms of government development and so on. Councillor Levens, thank you so very much for being on this edition of West Side Story. It has been a pleasure, as always.
Thank you, Adon.
All right, okay. You do have a good one.
Right, yes.
Viewers, unfortunately, this is all the time I have with you this week on West Side Story. And of course, I'm closing off the program from the, this is a bridge, it's in the Potentia community. I'm actually, as I said before, I'm actually standing right opposite the Potentia Secondary School. Close by is also the Potentia Primary School. And this is just to give some of you an idea who've never been into this community, what it is like here on the west side, on the west bank of Demerara. I am Malika Ramsey. Thank you so very much for joining us. Join me again soon for another edition of West Side Story. Goodbye.